Oh, hello, hello. What'd you say, Dan? Milk and bread, milk and bread. Yeah. Only trout. Alrighty, hello everyone. You see the NPM reports. Yeah, snow accumulating in Oldham County, Crestwood right now. We'll cover that here in just a second. All right, I hope you guys are ready for this. First off, I hope you're doing well. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to SnowTALK on this, what is today, Thursday? It's Thursday, right? Thursday, the 15th of January. All right, we do have a lot to cover, and you're going to have a lot of questions, I'm sure, on certain specifics. I will say this is, and this is not a cop-out, all right? This is a very complex setup that doesn't have a significant ramification, in other words, as far as being a huge snowstorm that could go off track here or come into fruition as we get closer in time. It's the little nuances with this pattern the next few days that we need to watch, and then I'll update you guys on briefly on the long term. But hopefully I will get everything covered, and if I do, then hopefully I've answered your question by the end. If not, let me know. But if you are able to, give me a moment to get it all out of my system, my dissertation out, and then hopefully, again, I've answered it for you. Fair enough? A lot of you in here. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Deshaun. Angela's here. Shonda. Margaret. Hello, Chuck. All right. What'd you say, Chris? It's a snow party. All right. There you go, Chris. We're ready for a snow party. All right. As always, Case, let's get right into the snowboard first. Let's start with that. And we still got the Friday morning light snow. That's where the alert date continues for tomorrow morning. Friday night, it's a mix scenario that is showing up that will quickly go into a snow squall type of ordeal into Friday night into Saturday. Tuesday, showing up as a very light mix. Not really concerned about that one right now. And still, we got the system or systems to watch as we head toward that 24th through the 26th window of January that, again, I'll update you guys on. All right, here's a live look into Starlight, Indiana. This is at Huber's Orchard and Winery. Still got the salt in the parking lot, and you got the snow and some of the spaces there in the parking lot, and obviously on the grassy areas. Last night was interesting watching some of these feeder bands that still came in. Now, a lot of you in southern Jefferson County and really our southern areas didn't see as much of the renewed snow showers, but the ones that came in mid-evening, that caused the biggest problem because at that point we were down to like 24, 25. Well, yeah, even salt's not going to work on that one. So everything just iced up quickly and became a problem. And as we're seeing already today, with it being so cold out, we're already getting snow showers redeveloping today. So you could still get a light little coating because it is so cold that every little flake is going to stick today. It's not an issue of it melting on contact. All right, so here's a wide view first. Look at the snow squall warnings that are out into West Virginia, up in the mountains there. A lot of wind combined with that, leading to the criteria for the snow squall warnings in that area. In our area, we've got a little patchy areas of snow showers. Now, it's interesting to watch the feed coming off of Lake Michigan, drops all the way down towards central Indiana and curves a bit once you get into Kentucky. But still, we're getting that fetch from the Great Lakes today. Most of the modeling did not capture that stream, that wind flow, because the wind angle and direction matters. It's held on to that direction coming down longer now off the lake. So it's pulling down the moisture further out than really a lot of data showed even yesterday. So that's going to lead to really occasional snow showers and flurries all the way from areas of Indiana around the Louisville area and up 71. I think you have quite a bit of flurry action. We've already had one of the bands. It's lingering a bit in southwest side here of wave country. This is going to hang on for a bit. It'll continue all the way through Scottsville, Kentucky, heading toward Albany, Kentucky, down to Columbia. So you may still get some of that light snow shower activity and light little coating. I can't rule out, again, some slick spots that could redevelop with some of these snow showers and flurries flying around. But it's not going to be overly organized. It's just going to be very, very scattered. Just be careful. If you drive through one, slow down. All right, don't hit the brakes. Just ease off the gas, especially when you come to a stop sign intersection or accelerating or decelerating on the ramps on the interstates. Just take it a little slow here today if you have some snow showers around. If it looks shiny out, it's likely going to be ice. So don't trust that it's been treated at that point. Okay, here's a look at the visible satellite. Hard to tell. You can see the clouds of that band coming in. I mean, the clouds we have overhead are coming from the lakes. So again, they can easily get the clouds. You're going to get flurries. So right there across the Louisville area, that will be the stripe flurries and maybe some light snow showers the next few hours. And then again, you see the other band clearly showing up to the south and west. Those of you around Cincinnati, I know we got a lot of Cincinnati folks that watch. You still have your persistent bands of snow showers. That's not going to change a whole lot today. I think you hold on to that much of the day today. All right, so just use some caution. So what about temperature? Well, obviously, this is one of the reasons why we've had so many problems is that you're just in that frigid setup where road treatment is a bit more of a challenge. A lot of calcium chloride has to be used in this kind of a scenario, but temperatures in the teens, lower 20s, wind chills running in the single digits for a while this morning. So just not a fun day to be outside, I'm sure. And it will get worse before it gets better as we head into the latter half of the weekend. All right, let me explain the challenges we've got for later on tonight into Friday. It's a wave of low pressure. Let me draw it first. Let me hold on. Let me before I get to this fun. Oh, wait a minute. No, wait, we don't need to restart. We don't need to restart. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong button. It happens sometimes. I hit the wrong button. Okay, let me kind of retrack. Let me turn off these temps here so you guys can see what I'm referring to. We have this next little wave that's coming on by for tomorrow morning, really late tonight, early tomorrow. Let me turn off the satellite too, because I don't want you guys to be able to see it all. As it passes on by here, it is going to interact with dry air that's already in play. You can't even see this feature. I mean, it's up here, but I mean, it's just it's so weak right now. But as it moves over us, the air is dry. Now, as it approaches St. Louis, Illinois, into southern Indiana, late tonight into sunrise, daybreak area on Friday, it will try its best to saturate the atmosphere to allow the snow to reach the ground. In some areas it will, in some areas it will not. Then we're going to get windy and not exactly warm, but at least getting up there close to 40. And that's going to be enough of an injection of moisture to lead to the second round for Friday night. The question with that one will not only be its type initially, because we're going to jump to 40 or even a little bit warmer than that. So I think it'll likely be rain in some areas, but dynamic cooling is going to take over, and that'll all go to snow into Friday night. But the difference in the two from Friday morning's snow chance and for Friday night and Saturday is temperature. Tomorrow morning, we're likely still going to be in the 20s, and we're going to stay frozen all day today. So even the smallest amount of snow is going to cause a problem. Friday night, I think the snow will be heavier, but temperatures are going to have a tougher time at the lower layers of the atmosphere getting back down to freezing. It may take till midnight to get to the freezing mark. Therefore, a lot of it is going to melt on contact. So that leads us to two different issues on getting snow and two different impacts on roadways. So that's the main point I want you guys to get from the storyline here as I get into the finer details of this. It's two different ways that traffic will be impacted and basically what you're going to see out the window in your yard as well. All right, so I hope that makes sense. So having said that, this is a look at what we call a sounding. I know it's kind of dark there, sorry, but this is in Louisville, but this is where we're at, the ground level. Way up here is the airplanes fly. All right, the green line there is your moisture line going all the way up the atmosphere. Red is temperature. And if they are close together, you're saturated. If they are far apart, you are dry. And you can see that at 3 o'clock in the morning, when the moisture begins to push in, arriving from St. Louis and Indiana, snow will begin to fall in the clouds aloft. We got saturation to allow it to form, so the flakes will form. But as they fall, they hit that dry air and poof, most of them will just have a tough time reaching the ground. In many cases, though, when I've seen a profile like this, you can still get snow to reach, but it will likely be very, very light. Now, let's move it to 6 o'clock in the morning. Now it's 6 a.m. You can see what happens. They smack together. We've got saturation, and it already puts a little blue dot to indicate light snow is falling at 6 a.m. So it happens fast. So we do saturate. It's very shallow. If we had moisture, if these lines were touching all the way up to about at least through here, try to draw it again. If the lines were touching at least through this area, this would be a much more of a heavy snow profile. But it's only the lower layers that are saturated, so it is a light snow that we're talking about. Okay, so that's looking at the data for how Friday morning is going to play out. The second issue we got with Friday morning is where it will actually be able to reach the ground, because it's not going to be uniform. Some of you will get this to reach the ground, some of you will not. So that will lead to two different areas having snow. The Friday night rounding kicks in, and we get more snow showers mixed into the equation. Let me show you a different way of looking at the data. And I hope I'm not complicating this for you all, but I want to show you a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff that we look at so you can see what the options are. All right, here's your Friday morning round. Here's the amounts, by the way, on the left-hand side of this chart. This first box is Friday morning. Notice everything is under 1 inch. Under an inch for the first box for Friday morning. For the Friday night and Saturday round that kicks in, a lot of the data, and these are different models and ensembles that are coming in, are more than that, about 1 to 2 inches is kind of the ranges we're getting. Again, two separate issues here that are happening, but very close together. As this evolves, we can also look at a lot of the ensemble data too that tries to get, say, the percentage. What are the odds of getting 1 inch of snow? There's different ways to look at this forecast. Look at the odds for Friday morning. This is from the GFS ensemble. We don't have anything listed for our area for Friday morning for a 1 inch total. We get into Friday night and Saturday, our odds of getting 1 inch of snow, at least 1 inch, up to 65% odds along 65 and up to 80 to 90% into eastern Kentucky. So you can see that the odds of accumulating snow are higher Friday night, not as high for Friday morning. All right, so here's where we're going to go with, and I'll show you the futurecast coming up. I thought I had it in here, but apparently I did not, but I will show you. Actually, let me do that now. Let me do it now because I think it's going to be a little easier, and then we'll show you the snow forecast. All right, here is, this is one of our in-house models. They're all a little different, but I think this is a fair starting point to kind of show you the storyline. We've got the feeder bands, the clouds. It's done a good job on initializing on that idea, so that's good. As we get into tonight, here comes the moisture moving in from Illinois and Missouri. Again, it's not a very, this is what is showing it's able to reach the ground in many cases. It's not a very wide band. Look how it really struggles as it moves into Indiana. Very light snow. And look at the rain snow line. Look at how that is pushing in to our southwest section here because it's a windy, warm wind that's moving in to Western Kentucky at 4 o'clock in the morning. But right on the leading edge of that is where your snow band's going to be. I don't see it right now being able to reach all the way down into southern Kentucky. So I do think this is going to be an Indiana event for Friday morning and likely along, sorry, going through puberty, likely along 64 and north, I think looks to be the zone for that. The Friday morning wave passes on by. This is 7:30 in the morning. It's still lingering by with some very light snow. And then we get toward midday tomorrow and we see the 40s move into the area. We inject moisture and warmth. Notice the rain breaks out, but it doesn't take long for this to fully react. And then here we go. It begins to expand Friday night. Typically, when you see these little pieces of energy like this dig into the Ohio Valley, they dig typically more east than they do west. So I like what the ensembles are doing on having the higher percentages east of 65 than west. I think that's fair. So if you are in Lexington area, Richmond, Kentucky, even in Danville, Kentucky, those areas have a better chance to get more of the burst of snow. And some of this could be snow squalls. I mean, these could be locally intense. You can still get accumulating snow above freezing in this scenario. So I mentioned earlier that the freezing mark might be tough to get down to Friday night, but you're still going to be able to accumulate on grassy areas, rooftops. It'll be just mainly slushy on roads. And eventually, as the night wears on, yes, it will start to stick to roads. But certainly for those in Eastern Kentucky has a little bit more to worry about than areas west. The only thing I want to caution you guys on, that while I'm talking about east of 65 a lot here for Friday night, this will likely backbuild back into Missouri. So this is going to feed more additional snow showers and even snow squalls all the way into Saturday. We will continue to see the snow showers and squalls kind of drift through the area. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, so let me show you the snow map. So for the first one, this is going to be for tomorrow morning. Less than an inch for Indiana. Louisville is going to be right on that line. I think it's fair to put Louisville on that line. If you're south of Louisville, at the south of 64, you may get a dusting, but it's going to be tough to get much of it to reach the ground. Let me, again, stress, a lot of the data I've looked at is spitting out like a 1/10 of an inch, maybe a 1/4 of an inch for many of the spots you see here. That's not a lot of snow. And certainly it's not the criteria for a winter weather advisory, because typically it's 1 inch to about 4 inches for an advisory. But with the ground being very, very cold, even a dusting, even a 1/10 of an inch, I'm telling you, it is going to cause problems tomorrow morning. So road crews have got a challenge. They've got to stay on top of it because this is likely going to be approaching during the morning commute through about, say, mid-morning. So for especially schools, a lot of their decisions are going to have to be based on a forecast because it may not have arrived yet when the buses typically roll. But while the buses are out, then the snow may begin to fall and slick spots develop. That's a tough one for schools. Thank goodness we do not make that call for school systems. But it is a challenging one because we have seen this play out before where it can get really, really messy. And if treatment is done and everyone takes it really slow, then it's very much manageable and you can get through the morning just fine. It's really the behavior of drivers that really impact this this type of situation more than anything. But again, it's not about the amount for tomorrow morning. It is about the idea that we're cold and then any amount of snow will cause a problem. Type 3, if you understand all of that and it makes sense, and this is a Friday morning commute type of issue, and that you understand as well that something to the south, the dry air may win and you might not even see it reach the ground. I'll wait. And if you don't understand, make sure to tell me because I want to make sure one's clear. 1 plus 2. Thank you. All right. Got a lot of 3s. Storm Chaser, Jason Hamilton there. Hello, Renee. All right. Thank you, Tiffany. All right. Good. So again, this is what we'll be watching today. If we see a change in moisture levels throughout the day today, say this gets a little bit more saturated, we see those two lines, the moisture line, the temperature line, get a little bit closer together for the morning commute. We'll put this a little bit more toward the closer to the 1 inch mark, and we'll mention that. But I think right now we have to go in the lower end of the scale just because of the scenario of the dry air. It makes sense, but I just want to stress that minor amounts are a problem. What about Friday night into Saturday? Well, more moisture is involved. So this can do a little bit more on snowfall potential. We can easily get 1 inch, 1.5 inches, Eastern side of the area up to 3 inches, maybe even 4 in eastern Kentucky. I'm not going to rule it out. But it's a little different snow. It's a wet snow. It's a little more on the sloppier side, more of a slushy ordeal. And some of it will be melting initially, especially the first, say, 1 to 2 hours. It will melt on contact, so it'll be lost. So we got to subtract some of that in the math as well. So this one's a little bit more of a challenge on impact because roadways with temperatures above freezing, obviously, will not be that bad. I mean, they'll be slushy, but mainly wet. Treatment's going to work great for Friday night. So if you're worried about icy roads Friday night, it's not as much of a worry. The only issue you have to deal with will be slush and visibility because some of these could be intense snow showers like we saw yesterday. Actually, yesterday is a really good example. In the afternoon when that snowburst hit about, 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, it was just big flakes coming down really hard to see. It's that kind of a scenario, but it'll be happening a little more at night, which makes it more of a challenge because you get the Star Wars hyperspace effect in front of your headlights. So it's like, gets mesmerizing. So if you don't have to travel, obviously don't get out in this mess Friday night and Saturday. It's easier to stay off the roads, right? But if you have to, and some of you have to, I get that. It will be easier to get around is what I'm trying to say compared to Friday morning, even though the amount is lighter. All right, type 7, if you get that, if you understand the second piece of Friday night into Saturday. Cheryl, are we going to be in the single digits? No, we will not be. Temperatures will be in the 20s for tomorrow morning snow and will be rapidly rising with that wind, the warm wind that moves in, the warm wind for the morning. So temperatures will be going up throughout the day. And so that's the reason why any issues we have really Friday morning commute for snowy and icy roads will improve throughout the morning. So in many cases, a lot of schools could really do a delay. But again, I don't make that decision. The 20s and then rising. But the ground's already frozen. So pavement temps are already down to a point where it's a problem. And we're not going to get a lot of help today from the sun. So they will stay low tonight. So any little flake that hits that type of pavement in the morning is going to stick. So you got 7. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. You guys always get creative with the numbers. 33% of 21. All right. What'd you say, Tawana? Instead of Snowmageddon, do we get Snowmageddon? All right, she's blocked. All right. Andrew's on. Hey there. Hey, Nikki. Will that slushy snow make things bad for the roads? No, I mean, slush is slick. Don't get me wrong, but it's not as icy as what tomorrow morning will be. Okay, this is fun, right? Yeah, I'm thrilled on this one the next couple of days. So I can't stress this is going to change several times, I'm sure. So it's up to you to keep checking back in on the forecast to keep up with these changes. Because even what I'm telling you now is probably going to be different by the time we head into this afternoon. Not dramatically, but some modest changes are likely just because there's too much. You're taking an atmosphere that's frozen in Arctic and you're going to reverse it into the 40s with strong winds, and then you're going to flip it back upside down again with cold Arctic air. That's a lot of flipping with the spatula here, and that's going to lead to problems, and it's going to lead to mistakes or bust potential in some areas. So it never goes smoothly, as the data shows. The atmosphere just isn't that kind to us. So that's why you got to stay close to it. A lot of nowcasting stuff for us meteorologists to keep up with. All right, everyone's good. All right, good. All right, so let's move on. So we get into the weekend. Other than the snow showers for really the first part of Saturday, the rest of the weekend fairly quiet. It's just going to be cold, absolutely cold. I mean, once we drop below freezing for Friday night into the overnight hours, we don't get above it until about the middle of next week. So whatever falls is going to stick around, and that will certainly influence how low we're going to go with this cold blast of air, especially as we head toward MLK Day on Monday. Some of the most recent data is now trending toward about 5 above for an actual temperature, but it's starting to sense snow is on the ground. And that absolutely is fair. That's what you should do in forecasting. If there's going to be snow on the ground, the numbers are going to be colder. So we haven't really adjusted fully down yet because we really get more confidence on how much we're going to get on the ground. But that's absolutely a trend that you will likely see, is that while, as you're seeing in a second on the 10-day, it's cold, don't get me wrong, but it could get colder. if we get snow on the ground. So very much like a Alaskan frozen tundra kind of setup here for the next few days. All right, then we get into the real fun as we try to warm back up again. Now, this will be accompanied by a little wave here for Wednesday and Thursday. It's going to scoot by quickly. You missed it there, but Wednesday, we're going to get a quick little southwest wind again, another warm wind, and it'll be another day of strong winds, probably up to 40 miles per hour. Are you over the wind yet? It's very fast, though. It moves in, zips on out of here. So the connecting point of moisture is going to be very limited from Montreal down toward Mississippi. So because of that, we're only going to go with the very light mix potential as it just breezes on by. That will likely be Tuesday night and early Wednesday the way it looks now, but we'll work on that because it's moving so fast. There's a buffer of almost 24 hours on the timing. But I do think it'll allow for a lot of wind when that happens. But once it passes by, it is absolutely key on bringing down the cold air that sets the stage for the system that we've been tracking for a while now toward the end of January. And here we go. We start with that as we head into next weekend. This is just the Euros idea. Oh, I love the rain snow line being so close to us. Isn't that great? We get into next weekend in general, and it's just multiple waves the way it's looking now. I don't think it's going to be one single storm as of yet. I think it may be a couple. But how this all gets oriented, oh boy. This looks fun, don't get me wrong. And for snow lovers, you probably love the look of this. I still don't think this is right. I don't think any model's got a handle on this great to show, but I got to show you something to give you an idea. But this needs more time in the oven, as I like to say. But look at that. You got Cape. You got thunderstorm potential here. Then you got ice, and then you got snow on the northern edge. Again, it's going to be all layered like a cake. I just don't know where we fit in here into that layer. And it may be an issue where we end up with all different types as it evolves. But you can see as we get into next weekend and into that following week, it is going to be it's going to be busy. Let me get to 10-day and some of your questions here. 10-day itself, again, showing that blast of cold air coming in. We'll go with about 44 tomorrow. We'll see how strong the wind can push us up because we may get some sun too. Late morning for maybe an hour or two, especially along an east of 65, the sun may come out. So again, any issues for tomorrow morning's commute, very much short-lived. It'll improve rapidly. Then we gear up for how Friday night's messy, slushy snow will evolve into Saturday. And then we just get back into the deep freeze again for about 3 or 4 days. And there's that bump up on Wednesday to 43 again with wind. And then we try to balance the rain snow line out into that following weekend. But we'll worry about that later. We get new that on that tonight on the long term. So hopefully tomorrow I'll have more time to talk about it. But all these little nuances in the middle are getting in the way. Heather, when will winter weather advisory be issued? That's a very good question because the Weather Service is the trend they've been doing over the years, and it's already what we're doing with alert days basically is a lot of it's impact based. So they, again, typically have the criteria of 1 to 4 for an advisory, but there are exceptions. And in tomorrow morning's case, could be one of those exceptions that a 10th or a quarter of an inch could still allow for an advisory to get issued because of impact. So if that is the case, I would say that's going to be coming out roughly around 1 to 3 o'clock today for late tonight, early tomorrow, if confidence is there. If they were to put it, it's probably going to be Indiana, maybe down to Louisville just because of the metro and traffic issues. I don't see it going south. It's still a big maybe, though. And again, it's their call on that, but I'm sure they're discussing that today. And as far as Friday night, will we get a winter weather advisory? Well, at that point, it's a little different, right? The impact is not as high, but the criteria is met because now you'll be more in the 1 to 4 range. So, but still could get an advisory Friday night into Saturday. Not as many people go out, though, and there's not really a rush hour involved in that time period. So that also is factored in. So we'll let you know as they're issued, but they're so close together. I just don't want you guys to think it's the same situation because it's not the same at all. They're just different. Let's see. Confetti cake for all different types. You're right, Danny. Yeah, you're right. That's a good way to describe it. Let's see. Your birthday is the 26th. You're hoping for snow, Lisa? Well, you may get it. You may get it. Everyone's talking about the snow for next weekend. These little snow lovers don't care. Like, you know what? If it's under half a foot, you know, you guys want the 12 to 24. it's snowstorms. Hey, I know you guys. I know you guys. And I'm not saying that's what's coming our way down the road either, but I know that's what you're hoping will be the trend. Shannon, will Eton get any snow at all? Well, if you're talking about Friday morning, probably not. If you're talking about Friday nights, I think so, yes. Adam, what are the chances of ice? More of the icy issue is going to be Friday morning with the snow. What typically happens too when you get the dusting of snow and people pull up to an intersection or a red light and you're sitting there, your tailpipe is actually melting the snow on the roadway, even the thin coating, and then it melts it and it turns into a sheet of ice. Then the car takes off and then the next car behind hits that ice, or maybe a few cars down the line, maybe a minute later when the light turns red again and someone goes to stop and they hit that patch of ice thanks to the car that was sitting there. That happens a lot in intersections in this scenario when you're cold like that and you get a very thin coating. The cars, the traffic actually can induce the ice to form. So that's when I think we'll have more of an icy issue. But as far as Friday night, I don't think we'll get into that. It's more slushy and messy initially for Friday evening. But as you see there later on Friday night, we do drop down to about 29. So yes, it will eventually become icy by the time we hit into the pre-dawn hours of Saturday. And we're not going to get above freezing on Saturday. So that trend will continue. But treatment will do a lot a better job there. Salt works really good at those values. Not so great with today or tonight, early tomorrow's setup, but Friday night and Saturday, salt works pretty well. Let's see. We can't be friends till big snow happens. Oh, come on here. Don't break my heart. Cameron, I want that 18Z GFS. I'm assuming you mean the other day. And we don't need that. That would be the storm of a lifetime if that model was right. I'm not even going to show you, and we're not going to discuss it. So don't stir things up, Cameron. I know what you're trying to do. Okay, everyone seems good, or at least the best you can be, right? I got to get going because I get things ready for the midday. But I want to at least talk to you all for a bit to explain what I can't explain on TV. This is way too complex to say in 2 minutes, as I'm sure you guys are aware. So I don't want it to seem very rushed on TV, but we'll try to keep you updated throughout the day, especially on social media, obviously throughout our TV hits and on the app as we get more data on this. But again, I don't see any winter storm coming our way here the next couple of days, but these little small ones are thorn on our side, and they tend to be a lot. All right, so hang tight, guys. Try to stay warm, and I will see you guys coming up at 11 a.m. on midday. All right, take care, everybody. See you soon.